Hello everyone, and welcome to another mount showcase video. With the launch of Winter's Day, we see a new mount skin added to the gem store. This one is a new skin for the Griffon, where it takes the form of one of the mini plushes that you can receive during Winter's Day, being the Griffon mini plush. I actually haven't seen many people with this mount running around. Granted, the Griffon in and of itself isn't always the best one to just run around a town on, given the fact it's meant for going very fast in the air. I saw this mount skin when I checked the gym store for updates, as I generally do when an update happens to the game, such as a festival or even a Living World chapter. With the Roadrunner skin, I actually didn't check because I was just so excited about the new chapter that I wanted to just get headlong into that story. All of the animations and sounds remain the same as the default Griffon. The idle animations we see the plush doing are the default stretching and preening of itself, which makes sense, it's still a cat mixed with a bird. The walking animation, the backing up animation, the running animation, and even the fun little animation where you have your mount jump up into the air and then land and continue walking are the same. The Griffon always has had the I'm going to jump up into the air and land like a slinking cat and then keep moving. With the flying animation we see, again, it's very much the same, with the Griffon going up into the air and diving down, still having the legs curling up as it tries to regain the height, and the tail swishing out behind you, flapping in the breeze. Generally, this would be caused from the feathers on the tail just moving back and forth with that, but this time we actually see it's the stuffing and a little bit of the fluff. Especially when you go up, you can see the neck moving, which I generally assume is the feathers moving in the wind. But this time it is the stuffing of the Griffon's neck and the fuzz that is doing it. On to the dye preview. For this preview, the dyes I used are Shadow Abyss, Permafrost, Sand Shark, and Golden Lion. The top of the Griffon changes with the upper right dye slot. I go through all 4 dye slots with the Shadow Abyss dye to show what slot changes which part of the Griffon. Permafrost gets used on the underbelly of the Griffon, which is the first dye slot, or the upper left slot, as you're looking at the screen. The lower right slot, I place the Sand Shark dye to show the change is in the cloth around the Griffon's neck. I then change the body to the Sand Shark blue in order to highlight how another color like blue would show more of the fuzz on the Griffon's skin. The last dye I end up using is Golden Lion, and I use it on the bottom left dye slot. This paints the buttons around the Griffon's neck, or at least the paint of the buttons around the Griffon's neck. As the paint is chipped, it only just shows the paint color being changed by the gold. I also check to see if the upper part of the mount skin looks any different with the fuzz by changing the blue to a gold, and then I change the gold back to a black for the top of the Griffon. As I am changing all of the colors on the Griffon, we can actually see some of the places where the Griffon's tail meets itself change to this red line going down through it. We can also see the way that the stitching of the Griffon itself is harder or easier to see depending on the type of dye used. My closing thoughts on the matter are, I admit when I first saw this mount, I was uncertain about it, and if not for this video, I most likely wouldn't have purchased it, which is a real shame. That was until I actually saw this mount in action. Oh my god, I fell in love with this mount the second I started making the video for the showcase. The way it moved, how it looked as a plush, it works so well with the actual Griffon mount, and it was far better than I thought it would be. The reason I didn't think at first that a plush would work so well is when I think of a Griffon, especially the mount in this game, I think of the speed and the grace by which the mount moves. As if you ever look at the default, it is based around an owl and a cat. And when you think cat, you think Grace. And when I think owl, I think, well, actually silent flight, but that's besides the point. It's more like a peregrine falcon than an owl, speed-wise. The whimsy of this mount fits Winter's Day while keeping the grace that makes the Griffon my personal favorite mount. The texture of the mount being soft and fuzzy brings out the idea of this being a stuffed toy. A giant stuffed toy, mind you, but a stuffed toy nonetheless. It also matches its mini counterpart, with only the proportions being different given the size and scale of the Griffon mount compared to the mesh used for the little mini, as they can't just randomly change a mesh for a mount. That would be a whole heck of a lot more work than warrants the price of the mount that it currently is in the store. Is it worth purchasing for 1,600 gems? In the end, that is up to you. I don't regret purchasing this mount one bit, which surprised me, as I've said. I love the skin far more than I had thought possible when I first saw it. I hope this answered your guys' questions and helped you guys see how this mount looks and moves. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.